Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are welcome in the essence. This broadcast, Brownstone, the light is contagious. But you need go on and receive it for yourself. Just open it, exuberant, evolution, exciting. We standing on the foundation of expression. You might have seen, you might have been, or you could have gravitated. Our foundation, we want to create a space for all to collaborate and be liberated from eventually all over the globe. And we are extending a hand to those who are an extension from maybe platforms, dig into another stratosphere. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. And that is MSG, the message in the message. I can OD on my execution of excellency. And this as a man right now, and things aren't created, but see true.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the night shift. I'm Paulette, the owner and founder of Brownstone Worldwide, also Cityscape Radio, as well as Brownstone Living Magazine. If you have not gotten your copy of Brownstone Living Magazine, and you are subscribed to the newsletter, we'll be sending out a copy of the magazine with your newsletter that goes out on Fridays. So, hey, Teresa, how are you? Good for everybody to be here today. Welcome to the neighborhood. If you are new here, I'm Paulette, like I said before. And one of the things that we do, I told you, Tony is live, and he said, hey, boss lady. So big shout out to Tony Sanchez, who is live on Cityscape Radio right now. And he's saying hello. So hello, Tony. How are you? Good to have you here with us today. All right. So tonight, what we are covering are a couple of things that I definitely wanted to go over to make sure that we are staying on top of all of the things. Okay. Check this out. If he runs too long, 6 minutes, we're not gonna, All right. Thank you, Anjali. Let's see if we can get to the juice. Right. Okay, let's get through that. Not true. Right. Right. Okay. Did you hear what he said? This is Balanced with David Lowry. He's also got a podcast on Cityscape Radio. And we always, whenever I join him on his show or whenever he does these little think pieces like this, you think he's going one way and then he goes another, which is, in this case, he said what we've all been saying, right? It's not about the left. It's not about the right. It's about money and power, right? So one of the things that he talked about was about this redistricting and all this. And he talked about the census. And then somebody comes on his page and says something about undocumented population numbers should not be a part of the census, but they're illegally doing it. And I said, well, I thought that if you were undocumented, you couldn't be a part of the census. And he says, well, they counted them in 2020. So I said, hold my beer. And I went and I found out that yes, and of course I didn't say hold my beer, but I wanted to go and find out for myself because I want to know what it is. So come to find out, it's a law. They're supposed to be counted. Yeah. Again, if you're just now joining us and you're on the other platforms, here's what we found out. What the census is required to do under Article 1. Yes, Maria, yes. Maria said, what? Girl, yes. They are to count everyone. Article 1, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution requires the federal government to conduct a decennial enumeration of the population, meaning it must count all people living in the United States, not just citizens. The law, 13 USC Section 141, directs the Census Bureau to count the whole number of persons in each state. This includes, ready, U.S. citizens, lawful permanent citizens, temporary visa holders, refugees and asylees, and undocumented immigrants. Bottom line is this. Everyone who lives in the U.S. on Census Day, April 1 of the census year, must be counted. So the fallacy that we've been hearing, yes, and they've always, you found your great-grandfather from 1915 on the census, yes. And here's something else I found out. It's funny you say that. My family on my grandmother's side is from Barbados, and they were counted when they got here. And this was in like 1905, some crazy year like that. Yeah. So they've been counting them. And then they would put the race, and I saw like all that and what they did and how many children. So it would be mom, dad. And then it was like my great-great-grandfather, it was here. And then, you know, and then all the kids over here. Yeah, I saw the paperwork and I was like, oh, wow. So here's the thing. Why it's legal to count undocumented immigrants was what I was trying to find out. So the Supreme Court and federal courts have upheld that the constitutional language applies to persons, not just citizens. Westbury versus Sanders, 1964, and Evanwell versus Abbott, 2016, confirmed that legislative districts are based on total population, not only eligible voters. So there's a difference between population of the district and those who can vote. Now, the 14th Amendment actually reinforces this by requiring apportionment of congressional seats according to the whole number of persons in each state. This means undocumented immigrants are legally included in the count for congressional representation, the House of Representatives, okay, electoral college appointment or apportionment rather, and distribution of federal funds. If you didn't know, now you know. Now, in 2020, the Trump administration tried to block that. They tried to change that. And the Supreme Court blocked him, and the citizenship question in the Department of Commerce versus New York in 2019, saying the administration's justification was contrived. And the reason why counting matters is for federal funding. The consensus actually counts and helps distribute more than $1.5 trillion annually for healthcare, education, infrastructure, and community programs. Local planning, political representation, that's another. We're very, very familiar with that. So ultimately, at the end of the day, you see the connection? It's just like what he said. It's about money. It's about power. And we say that almost every time I go live. It's about we need to follow the money. So yes, undocumented immigrants were counted in the 2020 census, which was my issue with the conversation. And I wanted to verify whether or not they were or were not. Come find out. Boom. Yep. And yes, it's legal and required under the Constitution. Excluding them would violate constitutional and statutory law. Yep. But the impact would probably show up by state. Kayshawn says, so where has the money been going? Good question. There's more poor people than there are rich people, and the rich people are using the government. Yes. And they're also coming up with their own laws and doing what they want to do. Like what? Dismantle the Voting Rights Act. That's next on the agenda for this evening. But I wanted to highlight that, number one, and talk about, it's somebody said, who is that? Shay said it's going to other country. Ooh, my God, today. Let's talk about it. $40 billion, right? I'm going to just go ahead and pull it up because, I thought it was 20 billion. It's not. U.S. Treasury Department has announced that it is providing a $20 billion currency swap or credit arrangement to aid Argentina's central bank in stabilizing the peso and maintaining foreign reserve liquidity. So this is a bailout. In addition, the U.S. is working on a $20 billion facility backed by private banks and sovereign wealth funds adjacent to that swap line, bringing the total potential support to $40 billion. The purpose, once again, is to help Argentina with its dollar liquidity, stabilize its currency, and reduce the chance of a financial crisis. Won't pay federal, right? But see, okay, so let's take a look at this. What I'm trying to do is get my emotions out of it because I feel the same way that you do. Because what I'm understanding is a currency swap line or credit arrangement. So they're not really exchanging funds. This is to back their dollar, which is the peso, and a $20 billion quote unquote facility backed by private banks and sovereign wealth funds. So there will be an exchange of funds adjacent to that swap line, bringing the total potential support to $40 billion. I wonder how long it's going to take to do. So the purpose is to help Argentina's with its dollar liquidity, like I said, stabilize its currency and reduce the chance of financial crisis. Y'all, I'm trying to find the good in this. I really am. Oh my God. Yes, it is a part of BRICS. It's all private. And it says so right here, private banks and sovereign wealth funds. Tutti Pase ain't none. This move is somewhat unusual for the U.S., according to Council on Foreign Relations. Direct intervention via currency swaps and market operations with the goal of affecting another sovereign country's exchange rate is not a common tool in U.S. foreign policy. You can't make this up. Y'all, I tried. Lord knows I tried. I tried to find the good in it. Yes, I did. So again, this is a credit repayment program, basically. So Argentina has a history of sovereign default. Loans or swaps actually involve risk to the U.S., or in this case, to those private sectors that say, here, we'll give you the money that you need. How the hell did they come up with that? So wait, so okay. Are you thinking, caps on, where did these private wealth funds come up with this money? You ever thought about that? That's a good question, Cheryl. So, according to Reuters, US buys more Argentine pesos working on their $20 billion debt facility. So, we're buying their. And the article said, according to Politico and Washington Post, that they're not good for paying their loans back. Thank you. You took the words right out of my mouth, Senna. Trading fake cash for worthless cash. Mm-hmm. A bigger debt. So who's gonna bail us out? Mm-mm-mm. So the House of Representatives, I'm looking right now, and I can't find anything that it's actually formally been approved by them. And this happened in October. We've been on a shutdown since October 1st at midnight. I have, Senna. Yep, we talk about it every time we go live. Kind of, sort of. Remember, and yes, you're right, we shop, because remember back when the housing market and all those banks went bankrupt and all of that, and then they asked for the bailout, and people were upset about that because we bailing out these companies that did this, and the American people were suffering behind that. That's kind of what this is giving me pause for. Did Doge help? I don't think they did. I don't think they did. Huh. That is very interesting. I'm glad we're talking about that. Yeah, that's what it looks like, Rosemary, is we're just adding all of this money to our national debt. And I guess everybody's all right with it, huh? It looks that way, right? Hold on, let me move him out the way. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of share that before we go and start talking about the Voting Rights Act. Gonna lose money. We the people paid it. Yep. Come on, Chucho. Yes. Wouldn't Congress have? I thought, but clearly that's a no because these are private funds, no doubt. All right. So let's talk about what CBS is going through as well. Like a bunch of stuff, like I'm getting alerts and stuff reminding me that I need to do a think piece on what's happening with CBS and also with this beautiful lady who's been with 60 Minutes for like 35 years. I forgot her name. Well, she has had enough and she expressed her feelings. So we definitely need to talk about that. All right, so let's talk about the Voting Rights Act. I think it is important for us to highlight what is going on with the Voting Rights Act and why we should be concerned on so many different levels. I know we touched on it last night, and I did a think piece on it. And Section 2. All right, so Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act basically says it's illegal for any state or political subdivision to impose any voting law, practice, or procedure that results in the denial or abridgment of the right to vote on account of race or color. So, in short, no voting qualification or prerequisite to voting or standard practice or procedure shall be imposed or applied by any state or political subdivision in a manner which results in a denial or abridgment of the right to vote on account of race or color. So, how it works, it applies nationwide, number one. Okay. Now, it allows lawsuits to be brought against states, counties, or other jurisdictions that adopt voting laws or practices that discriminate, which is why this case has made it all the way to the Supreme Court, and it's Louisiana versus Calais. Now, if a violation can be proved, if the law has the effect of making it harder for people of color to vote, then it can be discounted. So examples of things that can violate Section 2, redistricting maps that dilute minority voting power. Okay. Election procedures that make it disproportionately harder for certain racial groups to register to vote. And we've seen that with gerrymandering, moving voting polls and things like that. We've seen it. Texas and Florida, Idaho, Texas. I see a lot of people putting Texas. Hey, beautiful lady, how you doing? Hey, Williams, how are you? Like, what's going on in Texas? Yeah. My daughter and I were talking about that today. She's in Houston. Election procedures that make it disproportionately harder for certain racial groups to register to vote. We talked about that. At-large elections that prevent communities of color from electing candidates of their choice. Now, let's talk about the original 1965 law, targeting intentional discrimination. But in 1982, Congress amended Section 2 to make it clear that proof of discriminatory intent is not required. Only discriminatory results are enough to show a violation. Exactly, Lulu. Just the outcome. That's it. So all you got to do is prove the outcome. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes, truth matters. Yes. I'm telling you, is this all you need is proof. The jelly bean test, that's cray. Yeah, the jelly bean test, bring that back. Or something else funky. Low bar is a test. Okay. Do y'all see how this is a problem already? It's a problem. It really is already. Courts look for factors like this: history of discrimination in the jurisdiction, how voting is structured, like at-large versus district elections, whether minority groups have less opportunity to elect their preferred candidates, and whether the voting is racially polarized. Now, that's known as the totality of the circumstances test. Key Supreme Court cases: Thornburg versus Gingles, Shelby County versus Holder. Breaking news: J.B. Pritzker tells Donald Trump, "You can't break Illinois." That's what I'm looking to see now, Cheryl, is to see whether or not they voted on it. But as it stands right now, a couple things that we need to be aware of is that they probably are going to vote in favor of this. Yep, I know. I know it is not what we want to hear, but that's what they're going for. So let's take a look at that. I'm looking at some of the news on it. So the citation docket. This case actually concerns Louisiana's congressional redistricting map of Senate Bill 8 or SB 8 enacted in response to an actual court order. I think they will, yeah. And I'm not happy about it at all. But I do see them leaning more, because see, the argument is we don't need that anymore because everybody's being treated fairly. Make that make sense? Jess, you think like me. It hurts so bad to think so many people fought for us to have the right to vote, and this is insane. For these five new seats to be formed, do we get to vote on people to fill seats? That's a good question. I don't think we will find out until spring. They hear cases in fall and release decisions in spring. Yes, that is correct. That's a crop. All right, so here we go. After the 2020 census, Louisiana's qualified for 6 U.S. House seats, and about 1/3 of the state population is Black. Originally, the state legislature drew maps that had only one majority Black district, even though Black Louisianans make up 1/3 of the population. Y'all see where this is a problem already? You got, right, okay. Black voters challenged that map as violating Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, diluting minority voting strength. A district court agreed with them and ordered Louisiana to enact a second majority Black district. So the legislature then passed SB 8, a new plan with a second majority Black district. But that map was challenged by a group of, quote, non-African American voters, white voters, claiming that the new map improperly overemphasized racial gerrymandering and thus violated the 14th Amendment. So Section 2 demands that states draw maps so that the minority groups have an equitable opportunity to elect representatives of their choice. So hopefully that answers that question that you had. And so that would avoid vote dilution. But the challengers argue the remedy map puts too much weight on race, raising constitutional concerns under the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment and the right to vote, which is the what? The 15th Amendment. In effect, the court is being asked whether complying with Section 2 in this kind of way can itself violate the U.S. Constitution. It does, Mary. Maria says maybe we need to all start filing briefs when these cases go to SCOTUS. Yep, I would say so. Exceptions allowed for redress, I thought. I would think so. And I would agree with you, Jonathan. It didn't go against the Constitution. So here's why it's so important. Section 2's future is on the line. Because if you do that, you rip out the biggest part of what the Voting Rights Act was about. And it was about keeping Black folks from voting and other people of color in disenfranchised communities. This case could significantly narrow or even weaken Section 2 as a practical tool for minority voters to challenge maps across the county, or the country rather. Limits on race-conscious remedies. Here's the issue with this. If they remove this, if they take out Section 2 and they put limitations on it, the issue is it looks cute on paper. We know that, right? But we also know, and we are watching it ultimately in real time, what is happening to Black and brown communities right now in Texas. Governor McHotwheels literally just said, this is what we're going to do. And I believe that they're going to try it again. So there is a petition that is going around. I forgot what the representative's name. They're asking people to sign a petition in regards to this. Because you want my honest opinion, this is a hot mess. And this could have all kind of, it could garner, yes, Governor McHotwheels. I like, yes. Mm-hmm. I thought it gave Congress power to enforce. It does. But if you remove that, if you take out Section 2 or you modify it so that these people that are in their feelings, Y'all, and the attorney is Latino. That's all. Congress can't be found. They somewhere still getting paid every 2 weeks. Yeah. They're getting paid every 2 weeks. Yes, it is, Sleepy Donuts. It is. Yes. Now, we did cover the storms in Alaska. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up too. Now, what they're saying right now, 2 are missing. 1,500 people have been displaced. 1 person has been confirmed to have lost their lives. The infrastructure damage is severe. Recovering and rebuilding of these villages. Because, see, we got to also understand these people were already living in remote communities. And it hit. Now, from what I understand, there was somebody on the live the other day that's from Alaska that said that the winds reached up to 100 miles an hour. And I thought, oh my God. So the houses literally were floating. And I saw a video today of someone who's there and they can't leave their home because they're floating in their house. Like they can't do anything. And so they're hoping that they can get out. They just lost a Republican seat, yes. Yep. But now remember, right around this time, we learned that on October 6th, Trump signed an order approving the Ambler Road, which is a 211-mile access road through Alaskan wilderness, reversing prior decisions to block it. Remember that? Don't forget that's in Project 2025. That's the last thing that was completed. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that since we're talking about Alaska. Okay. And again, if you want to find out any of this information, here's where I'm getting my news sources right now because I'm looking as fast as I'm talking. AP, Reuters, The Guardian. That's where I'm getting my info. So if you want to get any of this information, I would encourage you to do that. One of the largest airlifts in Alaskan history is currently underway. Hundreds of residents are being evacuated from these indigenous villages, Kipnuk and Quigling. I can't even say it right, to safer locations like Bethel and Anchorage. Yeah, he did say that, Days, but he lied because Russ Vought, who is one of the co-authors of it, is literally helping to dismantle the country, and they are having a field day. They're going to mine those resources, absolutely. So here's the thing. U.S. Coast Guard has rescued dozens, 34 people rescued from Quigillingok. I think I said it right that time. And 16 from Kipnuk. Local and state emergency teams are assessing the damage and coordinating sheltering and transitioning from rescue to recovery. Now, here's what we do know. American Red Cross deployment has begun, and they're actually on the ground working with the tribal and local and state officials. See, I wasn't going to say that, Jay or Jay. I wasn't going to say that. I wasn't going to say that. I don't want to believe that that is even possible, but I just sat here and said the other day, we talked about this October 6th was the day that, what is this thing again that they're doing here? The Ambler Road project was approved. That's a part of Project 2025. And then kaboom, here we go. So critical infrastructure assessment and repair is happening. Some are, their homes are floating. Project 2025, Squam. Yeah. So when we go over there, that was October 6th. I think it's on page, what did we say it was on page 158? Something like that. Isn't that something, Patricia? The Inuit were nomadic and colonial structure means everyone needs a permanent address. Golly. So here's the problem. Here comes the winter. We're talking about Alaska. I'm from Wisconsin. So let me tell you what our weather is like. So I can only imagine what theirs is like. Okay. So the urgency to restore shelter to these folks during this time is paramount. Cultural and community recovery is also going to be paramount because Alaska Native communities have been permanently impacted, and we got to get them back to the way that they were living and require sensitivity to their local traditions as well. I think that's important. I know, Lulu. I was just hoping that somebody we would try to. Tony Williams, what'd you say? How are we going to bail out 2 states and help rebuild the war zone? And bail out Argentina? That's a good question. Your guess is as good as mine. Anybody got an answer on how they're gonna do this? Do we know how they're gonna do this? We don't have any idea. Lost all of their traditional food, all of that. Yeah. They wouldn't even help Arkansas Jess. You're right. Matter of fact, she was a Trump fan, and he told her no, wasn't gonna do it. Sure did. Christy, we're gonna go over what we talked about today. If you happen to have missed it, Oh, yes, she was, and then she went home and had her chin lifted. Yes, and I'm happy for her. Yes, is banking private funding gold mine? Yes. Yep. Oh, yeah, on so many fronts, Cheryl. Yeah. So many fronts. Cheryl said Mother Nature will have the final say. Yeah, he said no to her. He sure did. He wants America to be. I'm so glad you brought that up, y'all. Did you hear about Mexico? He's bailing Argentina because the Treasury Secretary's friends have a bunch of money in Argentina. Don't cry for me, Argentina. All right, let's talk about Mexico's biometric or digital ID push. You heard about this? You haven't heard about this? All right, for all of these folks that are going over to Mexico and you living your best life and doing all the things. CURP, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. Clave Única de Registro de Población is Mexico's existing unique population registry code, an alphanumeric identifier assigned to citizens and residents. The new reforms are turning CURP into a biometric digital ID system, and the biometric CURP will incorporate biometric data like your fingerprint and iris scans, facial images, and a digital signature. Oh, heck yeah, Maria. I know, Christy. So the biometric CURP is now being made mandatory by law and will become required for various government and private services. It was approved via legal changes just recently. I think like this week. Now, here's the timeline. A digital version of the biometric CURP will begin being used. Yes, Vietnam, and wait a minute, 80,000 people in Vietnam said, no, we're not doing it. Guess what they did? They shut them down. Blocked them from access to their own bank accounts in Vietnam. 88,000, as a matter of fact. Let me get that right. Fleetwood, yes, we did, and you've been saying it that you don't like AI. So here we go. The full mandatory use is expected by February 2026 for any official procedures. The government has issued a public tender to build the cloud and IT infrastructure to operate the biometric curb system, valued at up to MXN 520 million. The law now requires that government entities accept the biometric curb for identification as of today. Oh my God, today. So the Mexican government says that the reason why they're doing this biometric curb, CURP, is because it's going to help them locate missing persons, which is a major issue in Mexico. Aid investigations of organized crime, reduce identity fraud, and unify identity across government services. Yes, CURP. Just Donut came in and said, WTF is happening in Mexico. Digital identification, honey. It's also going to modernize public administration, making identity verification uniform across digital platforms and public and private services. Now, of course, you know that there are some legal challenges and risks. Privacy and surveillance concerns are front and center. Critics warn that the centralized biometric database, the sharing of data across agencies, and government access could enable mass surveillance. Of course. Some courts have already issued provisional suspensions in certain states like Yucatan and so forth, blocking forced collection of iris and fingerprint scans under the biometric curb law. Rights advocates argued that existing laws don't sufficiently guard against misuse of this data, don't require transparency when authorities access biometric records, and lack clear accountability or limits. And I was, Pam Scott, yeah. So here, close, Lulu. So I was thinking that, and I thought, okay, so we have the Real ID. Remember how they pushed that? I think that's a precursor to what we're seeing, because the UK has basically said, no, this is the only way you're going to get your services. This is the only way you're going to be able to get your paycheck, because otherwise you're not getting paid. Vietnam, like I said, 88,000 people said no. So they said, okay, shut down their bank accounts. They can't access their money. Either they're going to do it or they're going to starve. You choose. There was a book I read when I was in college. It was called Behold a Pale Horse. Whew. I just feel like but we need this information. We need to know. We need to know. Now, what you do with it is on you. Now, what the plans and the discussions are. You remember that book? I read that book in 1988. I was a freshman in college. See, Fatigue Zebra. Shouldn't you LLC your face? It's naturally yours, right? So you would think that you should be able to copyright it. But you see, they out here making Tupac and Kobe at basketball games and so forth, even though families are sending out cease and desist letters at this point. So if you all have access to Sora 2, this is your PSA. Stop. Don't make anybody else unless it's yourself. Don't create nothing else, because now they are sending out cease and desist letters. Michael Jackson's family shut that thing down in about 2 days because it was so real. Behold a Pale Horse. I read that one too. Yeah. Behold a Pale Horse. they sent the cease and desist letters to people that were making AI images of Michael Jackson. All right, now Mexico's central bank, Banxico, has been studying and developing a central bank digital currency, often dubbed a digital peso. The government once tweeted that the digital peso would be in circulation in 2024, but the bank has remained cautious and called such timelines informal. So if you're going to be going overseas, I'm not overseas, but if you're going to be crossing the border to go to Mexico, please note that there will be things that you may have to do. So prepare yourself for that. It's ultimately what I wanted to share with that. Because another thing is crypto and blockchain is active in Mexico as well. And it's growing. It's growing. So you just kind of want to put that in perspective as well. All right. They are denying visas and passports as well. Bookish Black Boy Mom said. See that? That's crazy. Wow. All right. Now let's chat about, y'all see how fast I'm moving? Because we need to talk about this food stamp issue, y'all. Did y'all hear about these food stamps? I know you had to have. Making me log in. I was already logged in. All right, now the Trump administration is warning that there will be insufficient funds to pay full supplemental nutrition assistance program or SNAP benefits if the government shutdown extends past October. So let's put this in perspective. I just found out today that people that I know personally, who will remain nameless, did receive their benefits, but they only received half. It's the administration's latest warning of painful consequences if the shutdown continues, as military service members are set to miss their first paycheck and federal agencies begin mass layoffs. Well, guess what? Military have already missed their first paycheck. Yes. Yes. Now, as stated in our lapse of appropriation correspondence dated October 1st, 2025, SNAP has funding available for benefits and operations through the month of October. Now, that's according to Ronald Ward, the acting associate administrator of SNAP. He said that in a letter to state agencies. Now, that letter I actually put in a video that I did tonight. I think I did it around 5 o'clock or something like that. So you can actually go see it yourself. It's all online. So yeah, there you go. Now, if the current lapse in appropriations continues, there will be insufficient funds, folks, to pay full November SNAP benefits for approximately 42 million individuals across the nation. I know Nepal sure did. He's doing this to increase the crime rate. So he's okay. So here's the state of play. The letter direct states not to begin the process of distribution of benefits to SNAP recipients' electronic benefit transfer cards for November until further notice. Yeah. So there's that. Considering the operational issues and constraints that exist in automated systems and in the interest of preserving maximum flexibility, this is what the letter says now. We are forced to direct states to hold their November issuance files and delay transmission to state EBT vendors. And that's what the letter says. I read it today for myself with these two eyeballs and then the extra pair. Yeah. A person familiar with the matter actually told the press that if the cards were loaded up, it could violate a law. So the state would violate a law. They would break a law called the Anti-Deficiency Act, which prohibits federal agencies from spending money that hasn't been appropriated by Congress. So they'll break the law if they go ahead and get these folks this money. via their SNAP. I don't get food stamps. Yes, and it's WIC too, because it's the USDA. So no, they cannot step in because it would be a violation of the anti-deficiency law. Ray Lee says, Lord, please put it in their hearts to break the law. So what are they saying? They're saying, now the Republicans are saying this is on the Democrats. They chose to shut down the government. Here we go again. Let's talk about that real quick, bookish black boy mom. So folks that I know right now, personally, we're not just bringing up people in the air, but I promise that I would share the story and keep folks anonymous. Single moms that I know personally got half of their food stamps. Now, the rule is supposed to be if you are under 14, if you are actively seeking work and so forth, you were not to be impacted. This person that I'm talking about, her children, all of them are under 10. So here we are with people that need the money, need the resources, need the support, and can't get it. And like you said, but like you also just said, she just found out, same girl, she just found out that the child care center where her children are going is closing down because they can no longer afford their staff because they are not getting their vouchers. So they're having to close down. Yeah. Hey, Arcadian. And so people that I know that actually have daycares as businesses, they're being impacted. These are not people that I just made up on the top of my head. I know people right now, that's their daily business. This is how they make their income, and they're able to pay their staff with the vouchers that they get. Her daughter's Medicaid was canceled. I'm through the Affordable Care Act. I haven't gotten my letter yet, but I understand it's on its way. And I understand that some people are saying they've seen a 37% increase in their monthly premium. I'm terrified to see mine. One couple said that they're not even going to get health insurance because they don't use it. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely, Rayleigh. Absolutely. Yes. And it's happening in real time. Like, this isn't something we're just making up. This is happening right now. The one couple, they actually did a video on TikTok about it. He said that their premium went from $950 something to over $1,377 per month. And he said the copay has to meet like $8,000. So they have the lowest of the low. They don't even have the highest, most expensive one through the ACA. He said that they're not even going to renew. They can't afford it. And you know that if you don't have insurance, you get penalized when you file your taxes. They have not been paid as of yet, Tracy. Folks from the military were supposed to get paid Wednesday. They haven't gotten paid. Yeah. No, it doesn't. So I use I have one prescription like every 90 days that I go refill. And I'm sure I'm going to see, mine triple in price. You're making Argentina great again. So there we go. Weakened SNAP benefits at risk for millions as the shutdown continues. Yeah, here we are. Now all of a sudden, there's tons of content about it. The problem is we know the states that are most impacted. Oh, yeah. Not only did ICE get paid, but so did the senators and the Congress people. I want y'all to remember that when it's time to go to the polls. They're absolute thugs. The red states, Mr. Benita, you are correct. Yep. So millions of mothers, infants, and low-income families who rely on WIC and SNAP programs, commonly known as food stamps, could lose that support in a long-term shutdown. But not just them. I was reading some articles today to kind of prepare for this evening. And not only is it going to impact folks with this, we're also talking about housing. Section 8 vouchers are not going to be paid. Guess what else is not going to be paid? Public housing is not going to be paid. It's a little bit different with that. But when you're talking about Section 8, you're talking about people that are living on landlords' property. And those landlords are not going to get paid. What you think they're going to do? Are you serious, Leslie? Your glaucoma meds cost you $9,000 and you got help through Social Security. Assistant care homes are not going to get paid. So let's talk about that, shall we? With these changes to Medicaid and Medicare in mass like this, your rural hospitals are closing. Not preparing to, they're closing. Assisted living homes that pay their staff and are able to take care of these people through Medicaid and Medicare, they will close. They will be impacted if this is not handled. And according to what I read earlier today, Mike Johnson said he is not backing down. Bonus money for ICE. Yes, that's what I've read. General Hospital in San Francisco's done shut down, Kayshawn. The elderly are in trouble. All nursing homes are about to empty out. Yes, because here's what's going to happen. The nursing homes can't afford to keep these people. They can't feed them. They can't keep staff there. Staff need to pay their bills. They're going to go somewhere else and go find work if they can. And think about the people that don't have family that they can go back to. This is their home. This is where they are until they close their eyes one last time. Because there is nowhere else for them to go. We ever thought about that? So Cheryl brought up a great point. You mentioned it earlier today, too, about Costco. No, this is happening right now, right, Nicole? This is happening right now. Yeah. Yeah, that military display, I bet you that's going to get paid for, isn't it? Let's see what our other people are saying. And they might be just quiet. I see y'all, but y'all not. Yeah. Now, my medication was free. Now you're paying, but not too much. Sunshine BD said on YouTube. Okay. But just keep an eye on it. You may see an increase, especially with this being open enrollment time. So we're giving money to Argentina, even though it's through private funds. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gavin Newsom hates Trump. He isn't going to let him get away with this nonsense. Well, here's the thing. He said the missiles are going to be flying over. And I thought, oh, how apropos to do this during the No Kings rally. So let's talk about what we talked about this morning on the day shift. Some of you guys, if you didn't get an opportunity to talk about it, if you're on Substack, you should have gotten an email from me. And we talked about that, right? We talked about the things that you should be doing if you will be attending the No Kings rally today. How to protect yourself during a protest. That's what we talked about today. So let's kind of review it a little bit. So we talked about a couple things before you go. Now, there are some people. Yep, Fox Home, you're right. So let's go through it really quick because I'm at an hour and a half now. I said I was going to do an hour. I've been here an hour and a half. Okay. So first things first, before you go, preparation is protection. So what is the first? My handle on Substack is the Brownstone Brief. Know your rights. Get you one of these. If you have a Five Below in your area, this is the Constitution of the United States. Get you one. Why? Because the First Amendment protects your right to assemble peacefully, record in public, and speak your truth. Police can only disperse a protest if there is a clear and present danger or illegal activity. Okay? Dress smart. Stick to neutral clothing. Try not to wear bright colors, logos, so you are not easily identifiable. Wear comfortable clothing. Y'all don't be out there like Peppermint Patty from Charlie Brown with your toes out. It is not that kind of party. Closed toe shoes so you can walk and run if you need to. Avoid contact lenses. Why? Because of tear gas and pepper spray, because it can get under those lenses and you can't get that out from up under there. Pack a lightweight layer of clothing, preferably something with long sleeves. Why? Because you want to write your contact information on your forearm and you want to cover that. So if anything gets sprayed or whatever, yes, we're having this conversation, prophetess. Make sure you're covering your arms. Pack light, pack smart. Pack light. Yeah. Bring only what you need. Don't bring your whole wallet. Yes, Brownstone Brief. Yes. If you want to follow me on Substack. Yep. And that's not a bad idea, Kayshawn, and your blood type. Okay. Pack light. Bring your identification. If you have your real ID, bring it. If you have cash on hand, be sure to bring it. And if you can, bring a prepaid gift card or debit card. Don't bring your whole wallet. Travel light. Toddy, what we're talking about tonight is we're talking about in case you are going to the No Kings rally. Okay? If you have a copy of your birth certificate, you know how they give you those certified little bitty copies that you can carry in your wallet? Bring that too. Because I wouldn't be surprised if they say everybody here is illegal. You know what I mean? Like for real. Thank you, Wonder Woman. We talked about that today. Don't bring your children out there. There will be no bouncy houses and ain't nobody got time for all of that. Now, if your children are old enough and you want them to have this experience and you're taking it seriously, that's one thing. But don't bring your children out there. And no pet. Listen, let's have this conversation because I talked about this today. The last big rally that they had, you hear me calling it rally. The last big rally that they had, y'all, why did they do a survey and people were upset because there weren't any bouncy houses or access to fresh coffee? What? And I thought, this is not real, but it was. And the reason, let's talk about why you don't need to bring your team. Because they hot-headed. Leave them babies at home. Yes, ma'am, when it rains, they sure did. Just bougie. If you want to be bougie, stay home. Stay home. Yes. Emergency contact info, like I said, write it on your forearm. Water, snacks, and saline solution that you can utilize in case the pepper spray or tear gas comes out. Keep your pets at home. No, this is not the rapture. It sounds like it, don't it? Yeah. I thought that too. I thought, hey, this is a protest. Like, what in the world? What are we doing, right? But no, oh no. No. Bring a portable phone charger. If you have your passport, I would bring that. used to protest in the 70s. I can recall being a part of Black Panther marches when I was a kid. Kid'll give me skittle. Yeah, we friendly in here. Welcome to the neighborhood. Thank you for that. The rapture, leave my pets. This is not the rapture. If it's the rapture, it's because I'm singing it on Saturday. Right, you're not traveling to, y'all, wow. But you're telling the truth. We are not traveling to the country. This is not a pleasure cruise. That's not what this is. This is not what this is. This is a rally. That's what we calling it, but we know what it is. Now, if you want more further information, you can always go to nokings.org, and you can find where in your area that people are. The milk is probably for tear gas or those kinds of things if something gets in your eyes. Exactly. If you're fighting for your rights, here's the thing, y'all. If you're fighting for your rights, why in the world do you think it should be comfortable? We just sat here and we just talked about people losing food stamps, child care vouchers, daycares closing, hospitals closing and being impacted. Do you all recognize, and I know you do, but let's say this together. The trickle-down effect has begun. I was watching a video the other night where a guy was talking about, because I wrote it down. He said the deportations and immigration raids have begun impacting American food supply. I just sat here and told you all, if you came here early, you saw me talking about the food supply here, and I went to the grocery store because I promised my son I was going to make a roast. Tony said he pays for his medication too. Yeah. So let me just say this. I was going to buy a roast. Let me tell you how much that roast was and why it's still at the grocery store. It was $45. Y'all, it was $45. Yes, Meals on Wheels. Some states have already gotten rid of it. Bingo. Oh, yeah. How I know that is I know somebody that managed and ran the one in Wisconsin. And his entire team was let go. And this was when he was first inaugurated, this guy. Whose name shall remain nameless, who has great ears, by the way, according to Time magazine. You stop buying meats? Of course, Mew. That's what we're here for. We're here to provide each other with information. Stock your canned goods or whatever. Yes. Yep. Meals on Wheels. Yes. Now, here's the thing. Where I currently am, the Meals on Wheels program here is state funded. And it's also done through the donations of the people themselves that receive the Meals on Wheels. So it is a culmination of all of the things, right, together. So there's that. You get my message? Hold on. Go ahead and load that.
Already did.
You did? Okay. And guess what? It just popped up. What about the edit? Because I need to turn that in as well.
No.
The recording we just did yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it needs to be ready for Monday, but she needs to review it. She needs to review it. And you know they off and they leave early. But that's the easy one, don't you think?
Sure.
Anyway, hold on just a minute, y'all. Now, I know doggone well I didn't just sit here and do all of this cooking for you to look in the refrigerator for a hot dog.
What? No, I'm not. Did you just...
I
Did
did.
you just attack me on a public server for eating...
Public server? No.
For eating them with
Y'all,
straight
my son...
glicks.
What?
For eating them with straight glicks.
I have no
Shaboing,
idea what that is.
shaboing, boing.
Boy, shut up. I fixed that for you. You know I don't cook like that.
Straight sugar. You just attack me for eating your boing boing.
Kevon,
Clicks.
I just called you by your full first name. If you don't make a plate and then your niece made cornbread and it looks better than her mama's,
Meat pistols.
shut up. Just be quiet. It go. You. Yes. Y'all forgive me. You better exactly. Honey, I'm over here. I done made ribs. Ribs. And he also works for me, y'all. So he's been editing. And as soon as I asked, was it loaded? Boop, there it is. So anyway, he's one of our editors. Wonder Woman said, pass me a plate, Kevon. So we had red beans and sausage. I didn't want to make any rice today. I was not.
What was that?
What?
What was that?
What?
I heard an A in that.
What? I'm saying how she spelled it. She does not know I said Kevon.
No,
Boy, if you
it's
don't
fine.
go on ahead and fix a plate,
It's
please,
fine. No,
please. Because I'm talking.
Everything's fine.
Yes. You sure?
Everything's great.
All right. Just make sure that gets done so I can turn it in and she can be happy with it. But I think she did really, really well. And just put it in the Dropbox so I can send it over to Dr. Burks. I appreciate you. But I'd like to see it as well. All right. Yes. Right. It's going to be hard. And see, he's in school and he works for me and he has another job. So, but he likes money. He's good at what he does. Yes. He is amazing. And I said it to his face. Yeah. Be metal, honey. Listen, are you for right? I don't care what color you are. Are you for right? I don't think anybody in here does. Won't care. You can't stop laughing. Because remember, we're still in the brownstone, so we're still going to chill out. We're still going to have a good time. I know this is a lot of information, but I want to make sure that we get this information. And then I'm still living my life at my dining room table. Y'all see me over here with this big old pastor's glass. Y'all know after he finished preaching, this is what the usher is going to give him. And it's going to be full of what? Orange Tampico. Am I the only one? Okay. Keisha, you know what I mean? Like, come on, let's just relax just a little bit. But this is information that you got to have, information you got to know. And yes. Now, if you want some barbecue sauce, you're on your own. Okay. Y'all know this is what this is a pastor's glass. It's Pat, yes. You want some rib? Thank you. Good night and God bless you. Of course. Yes. Oh Lord, we don't want to do that. Army Mama, if you're leaving, have a good one. Your Section 8 is due to be cut in Cali next year. Oh my goodness. You got the letter in the mail. I know a couple other people that got it too. A local meat link in Georgia, we shot. Neither am I, B Metal. You said you think he's Antichrist. I think that he is in the middle stages of sundowning. And nobody wants to admit it. And they know it. And they're using him until the edge of that sundowning is no longer hideable, if you will. But they want as much done as they can possibly get while he's still standing. All right. Well, much love to you as well. Thank you for swinging through, Army Mama. I hope you had a good time in here while I was fussing at my son. Very present, Pam Scott. Because I've had 2 family members go through it. I know the signs. I called it. Nope. And cheers to that, Fleetwood. And you know what? I'm not wishing anything negative on anybody, but I will definitely say this. that I said it once, I said it again. Here's the big mama in me coming out. Baby, you reap what you sow. Cheers. Y'all, this is water tonight. I need more water in my system. But yes, my pastor's glass. Why do they give them that orange Tampico? I don't understand. All right, so let's get back to the list, okay? Actually, yes, I do. I have a pastor's towel. It's my tea towel. Oh, my God. Tell your son he's blessed because I'm over here offended for myself. Think about it. You hear that? He blessed. He is. Let me tell you why. Because I don't do that often. I can't tell you the last time I cooked. Facts. Because they're grown. My children are grown. My daughter cooks for her and her baby. My other baby is in Texas. I got one in Wisconsin with her husband and children. Everybody know how to take care of themselves. I'm just out here just living life, kicking it, hanging out, joining bands, talking to you guys, because this is my life. All right, so where were we? All right, so I was back on Substack reading my own article. So let's talk about that. We talked about packing light for this event. If you are going, you'll need a copy of your ID or your passport, like you all said. Emergency contact info. I will write it on my arm because you may lose paper. Keep long sleeves on. Number one, to protect your flesh, okay? And then also to protect that content or that data that's there. Even if you tape it, like I had a homeboy, he used to just tape it onto himself. For real. Water, snacks, saline solution is another one. Get yourself some portable phone chargers. Even though earlier today, Kayshawn and some other people said, don't bring a phone. If you can bring a burner, get a burner. But I dug a little bit deeper and we added on here, bring a first aid kit. Where can you get them? Walmart has little bitty ones. Dollar Tree has real small ones. All of those things, right? Foxum said, it's not the end times. The billionaires will be just fine. Okay, cash and lawyer hotline. Now, if you're on Substack, I've got those phone numbers there. Let someone know where you will be. Do not do this by yourself because you never know what's going to happen. And make sure that it is a trusted friend and that you are doing the buddy system. That's what I said too. Now, Rosemary, if you're comfortable with that, and you know some people are actually going to do that, get some live shots. I know, Senna. But we were playing Uno and they were playing chess. This was being set up in the 80s and then all the way up into this previous administration he was a part of. And then Biden got in there and kind of held things off for a little bit. And he had already put people in position in the Supreme Court. The very people that are helping to dismantle what took generations to build. Okay? Now, here's what you need to do during the rally. Stay aware of your surroundings. Keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head up. Watch the flow of the crowd. Know where any exits and side streets are. That's how come they'll be bringing don't bring no churn. Like the old folks say, don't bring your churn. You don't need to bring your churn. Or your cholos. Don't bring your cholos up in there. Leave them at home. Because if something happened to you, what happens to them? What'd you say? 24 hours? Ooh, that's a good idea. 24 hours. Don't give me no ideas. Don't give me no ideas. Good God, that's a good one. All right, so avoid being boxed in between barricades or police lines. Don't do that. Protect your phone. Use a passcode only, not your fingerprint, and turn your face identification off. Disable location tracking. That's another one. And your Bluetooth. Right. Maybe everybody should wear yellow, like a sea of just yellow, like sunshine. I don't know. Keep your phone in airplane mode when not in use. So if you're recording, be clear that that's what you're doing. I'm recording for everyone's safety. If tear gas or pepper spray has been used, move upwind with it to kind of and get out of the area. Don't rub your eye. Are you listening to this?
No.
How do you feel about the animal blow-up costumes? I think they're absolutely hilarious. And it is a wonderful way to mock everything that's happening. I think it's fabulous. I told y'all we're going to make us a little dance. A little line dance. We're going to stomp on the ground. Be aware of agitators. Don't follow their actions. Correct. That's how come we said leave the teenagers at home. They're hot-headed. Okay? Try your best. And rob the singer. Yes. Cutting up. And protective, because now we can see you, but we can't. And saline, yes. Using the saline for your skin and also for your eyes, especially if you're wearing contacts, but don't wear them. Can you do this on Wednesday? I was live last night, Fleetwood. That is hilarious. I was live last night. I just assume you were probably driving or something, because I mention you every once in a while. Be like, wonder where Fleetwood at? Like I'm the only thing happening, right? I know y'all got lives. All right, here we go. Remove and seal contaminated clothing as soon as possible. If it were to happen. Here's something else. Stay calm. Don't argue. Ask if you are confronted by police. Am I being detained? Or am I free to go? If detained, remain silent and ask for an attorney immediately. Pro tip, announcing that your recording can diffuse tension and keep encounters transparent. So you're going to be the press on the ground because you got freedom of the what? Freedom of the press. After the rally, shower with cool water if you can. If you can get to any, and the reason why you want to do that is because you don't know what they've sprayed the area with, especially if they're going to use it. And according to the way that these folks are talking in the White House right now, there is no telling. There is no telling what they're going to be trying to do, because they already said we're coming after Antifa. And I keep asking, where is Antifa? Where's she at? If you got protective gear, wear it. I know in some areas, in some states, also check with your local states too, because there are certain laws, like maybe you can't wear a mask, maybe you can't do this. Make sure that you're following the law. Do not give them reason to do anything extra that's not necessary. Document everything. What is Antifa? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Where's she at? Yes, all of us are. Yes. I did a whole skit of a grandmother looking for her granddaughter named Antifa to make a point. Correct. Antifa means anti-fascist. And it's just a short word. It's an ideology. And they have this whole thing going around, oh, Antifa, they're doing this, they're doing that. How are we doing that? And it's not Antifa. Yeah, Antifa, right. Like, how could we do any of that? And it's not an organization. It doesn't exist. But they will have you believe that it's a group of people having meetings in backwoods and back alleyways and in the highways and the byways. Like, really, what are we doing? You can go to nokings.org if you're interested and you want to find out more information. And it's just a peaceful rally. I'm being careful with my words. Right. I heard that too. They're paying us money. Yeah. Governor McHot Wheels, he's sending National Guard to Austin. Right. And they're doing that to create the rhetoric of the enemy. Okay. So basically what I'm doing is, if you were not a part of the live this morning, we're just going over this again. You want to play, Tony? Tony said he want to play, KJ. Where's my son? He disappeared so fast. He was just standing right there. Anyway, his wheelchair saltine is ready to go. Let them try to lay a finger on my neighbor. I never got my sword. You never got your check? Oh, a whole bunch of us are still waiting on checks. I don't know if I would want it. I wouldn't want it. Anyway, all right. So I just wanted to kind of cover that with you guys a little bit. And remember, you can go over to Substack, go to the Brownstone Brief. We even have I put some numbers on there for the ACLU, and the National Lawyers Guild legal hotline is on there as well. Mental health resources are available. And basically, if you're headed out this week, screenshot or print the checklist. That's what I'm asking everybody to do. Share it with a friend. Drop it in your community drop chat or group chat rather. And remember, y'all, we're still the people in the neighborhood. That's what this is really about. And we are on watch, and so is our neighbor. That's our mantra. And what I want you all to understand is that this is bigger than us. This is really, we are doing all that we can to save democracy. They're saying this anti-American. No, this isn't. If you stand for America, if you are a true patriot, then we ain't talking about just military folk. Yes, we honor our military, but at the same token, people are walking off of their jobs right now because they disagree with what's currently happening right now. For real. Kevin, thank you. I knew I wasn't crazy. I can't see you because you're okay. There you are. Okay. Sam loves it. Boycott Walmart. Yeah. Now before we wrap, because I said I was going to do it. I said we was going to do our two senators. Y'all, I'm exhausted. I'm going to be honest. And I got to finish this work for a client before I retire for the night. So we'll do our senators tomorrow. Watch for agitators. Yes. Because let me tell you something. Don't think that they're not going to be in the crowd, because they will. Sam said he's making tamales. Oh, yes. My mother used to make tamales. So tomorrow I will be live. I usually go live about 11:30, 12. So I was live today at 12. Was it 12:15? Something like that. It was 12:15 when I went live today. Because things are a little different now. I have clients. And I got to make sure that I take care of them so I can continue to send them an invoice. So, yeah. Am I? Oh, how cool. Kittle give me Skittles. Yes. You'll be watching this on the web on Saturday. Wonderful. Yes, I will be doing the same thing. Now, if you all are so inclined, I will be performing on Saturday. It was not in the plans, but since I'm going to be performing, I'll probably go live instead of, some just, to kind of break from the norm. I'll be performing with a band on Saturday. It's in Georgia. It's a place called Concord, Georgia, I think, something like that. And I think it's like their fall, this annual thing that they do or whatever. So me and the band that I sing with is going to be out there. It'll be cool. So I'll be doing that and just going live like I did before. But anyway, this information, I hope that you guys have found helpful. You notice that I didn't do a bunch of posts today because I'm working on finalizing the people in the neighborhood and the Neighborhood Watch Ambassadors program on Patreon. For people that want to be a part of the Brownstone outside of the social media platforms. The more that we are getting deeper into this and where we currently are, I'll be sharing information with you all. One of the things that I mentioned earlier was also Brownstone Living Magazine I will be reaching out, and you'll start to see where we want to feature some of you guys in the magazine as well. And I'll share more information about that and about the block party happening this coming summer, 2026. Okay. All right, folks. I'm going to shut it down because I need to keep my sanity about me because I got to come back tomorrow. Will you live stream your set? Yes. Yes. Yep. Y'all, you know what it is, right? We are each other's keeper. We are, and we're still neighbors. We're still people in the neighborhood. You are a part of what we call the neighbors now, right? So y'all get out there and be safe. I wanted to do this before Friday, so you all were well caught up on everything. Again, go to the Brownstone Brief and get that. If you are on Meta and you subscribe on Meta, it will be in the subscribers area for you guys only. Okay. All right, folks. Listen, 3 things that we always love to say to everybody before we leave. 1, love your life. It is the only one that you have. 2, live your life to the fullest and embrace everything that is your life, because you only get one you might as well enjoy it. And lastly, breathe through every single moment. I will see you all in the morning for the day shift. Listen, y'all, we'll see you around.
Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are welcome in the essence. This broadcast, Brownstone, the light is contagious. But you need go on and receive it for yourself. Just open it, exuberant, evolution, excited. We standing on the foundation of expression. You might have seen, you might have been, or you could have gravitated. Our foundation, we want to create a space for all to collaborate and be liberated from eventually all over the globe. And we are extending a hand to those who are an extension from maybe platforms, dig into another stratosphere. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. And that is MSG, the message in the message. I can OD on my execution of excellency. And this as a man right now, and things aren't created, but see true.